When you walk into an old farmhouse or a traditional home, you notice something immediately. The windows aren't wide open all day, and yet the air never feels stale. Older generations understood ventilation differently from modern habits. They didn't rely on constant airflow or continuous air conditioning. Instead, they ventilated in short, deliberate bursts, and there's a practical wisdom behind it that modern viewers rarely consider. Understanding this approach not only teaches us about historical living but offers survival and home management lessons still relevant today. They prioritized temperature control over constant airflow. Homes built before the widespread use of modern heating and cooling systems had to contend with extremes in both heat and cold. Opening windows all day might seem like it ensures fresh air, but in practice, it drastically affects indoor temperature. Older households would open windows for short periods, often during early morning or late evening, to flush out stagnant air without letting the house lose its stored warmth or coolness. For example, in a rural 1930s home during winter, a window might be cracked for 15 minutes in the morning while the family prepared breakfast. That brief window allowed smoke from the stove, cooking odors, and indoor moisture to escape, but it wasn't open long enough to drain the house of heat. In summer, the same principle applied in reverse. Windows were open just enough to create airflow that would carry heat out but would not leave interiors sweltering. Modern enthusiasts can adopt this approach today by timing window ventilation to coincide with naturally cooler parts of the day, rather than leaving them open continuously. They managed humidity and indoor air quality with precision. Constantly open windows may seem like the simplest way to prevent mold or stale air, but older households recognize the dangers of uncontrolled moisture. Wood homes, plaster walls, and natural insulation materials were sensitive to high humidity. Short, targeted bursts of ventilation were sufficient to balance indoor humidity without introducing excessive outdoor moisture. In practical terms, a family might open windows in the kitchen during cooking, allowing the steam to escape in 10 to 15 minutes. This short, controlled burst prevented condensation from forming on walls or ceilings, protecting both health and the structural integrity of the home. Today, this method can be applied in modern homes by ventilating bathrooms, kitchens, or laundry rooms for short timed intervals instead of running fans or opening windows all day. The principle is efficiency and control rather than constant exposure. They took advantage of natural air movement. Older generations observed how wind, temperature shifts, and sun orientation affected airflow. They didn't rely on fans or HVAC systems because they understood their environment intimately. Ventilation in short bursts allowed them to exploit natural drafts and shifts in air pressure. A window opened just as a breeze picked up could exchange indoor air far more effectively than leaving it open all day. Applying this today is straightforward. By monitoring wind direction or seasonal temperature changes, you can time when to open windows or vents to maximize air exchange without losing comfort. In a survival or off-grid context, this knowledge is invaluable. Short bursts of ventilation can keep a living space breathable while conserving heat or coolness, which is critical when fuel or electricity is limited. They minimized energy waste without even realizing it. Even before energy efficiency became a conscious practice, older households just naturally conserved resources through short bursts of ventilation. Opening windows all the time forces heating or cooling systems, or even stoves and fireplaces, to work harder just to keep things comfortable inside. By ventilating briefly, they managed to reduce energy loss and still maintain a steady indoor climate. For modern application, you can actually replicate this by opening windows strategically rather than leaving them open all the time. For instance, in winter, just crack a window in the morning and evening, letting fresh air in only long enough to get rid of indoor moisture and odors. This method keeps the warmth, reduces heating costs, and, well, it mimics a historically proven practice. They understood comfort was about cycles, not constant change. Continuous ventilation creates a constantly fluctuating environment that can be uncomfortable or even stressful. Older generations approached comfort in cycles, moments of fresh air, periods of stability, and then another brief renewal. This created an indoor climate that felt consistently healthy and livable, without all those extremes. A practical takeaway for today is scheduling your home's airflow in short, intentional windows. Open the living room window for about 10 minutes while making breakfast, then close it and allow the space to settle. Repeat later in the afternoon or evening. You get the benefits of fresh air without the drawbacks of constantly changing temperatures. This technique is especially useful for older buildings or homes with poor insulation, where constant ventilation can be, well, counterproductive. Ventilation wasn't random, it was part of the rhythm of life. Windows were opened while sweeping, cooking, or washing clothes, tasks that generated heat, steam, or dust. This approach meant fresh air was delivered precisely when it was needed, without unnecessary energy loss. Modern enthusiasts can adopt this principle by linking ventilation to daily activities. For instance, open your windows when cooking, doing laundry, or during cleaning tasks. Close them once the work is done. The efficiency, comfort, and preservation of your home environment will improve immediately. Applying this knowledge transforms both historical understanding and modern living. By studying why older generations ventilated in short bursts, we gain insight into historical living patterns, architectural design, and survival strategies. The method was practical, efficient, and adaptable, qualities that remain valuable today. Whether you're a historian, a survivalist, or simply a homeowner, timed ventilation ensures better air quality, temperature control, and energy efficiency. If you want to truly embrace this old-world wisdom, start by observing your home's natural airflow, schedule short ventilation periods tied to daily activities, and notice how it changes indoor comfort. It's a simple yet powerful practice that connects us with generations who lived thoughtfully without the conveniences we take for granted. Don't forget to subscribe to Wisdom for the Journey and share this guide with fellow history enthusiasts. Understanding how people lived, breathed, and thrived before modern systems gives us practical tools for today and a deeper appreciation of the past.